Hi, welcome to Inside View. I'm your host, Sid Marsh, and with me today is Julie Douglas, and she's with the Crafty Chicks Roadshow. And we're going to find out all about it right now. Welcome, Julie.
Thanks.
So tell us, what is the Crafty Chicks Roadshow?
The Crafty Chicks Roadshow is a vintage flea market and craft fair that I started back in August of 2017 down in Utica Park in Angels Camp. I had been living up here about 5 years, and I myself am a crafter, and I was looking for a venue in which I could set up a craft booth and sell my handmade goods, and I was having a really tough time finding one. So I kind of decided to start my own. And what started out as a small event in Utica Park with just a handful of vendors kind of grew and grew and grew. Before I knew it, I had 40 vendors on my first time out, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, I'm going to give it a go. So we had 40 vendors. We had local handcrafted vendors. We had artists, photographers. We had antique dealers, vintage furniture dealers. We had a lot of upcycled, repurposed, just anything that was handmade or old. And we also had some food trucks, and it was a hit. And it was on August 4th of 2017. It was probably 99 degrees that day, hotter than heck, but the people came and they stayed all day, and it was a very successful day for all of our vendors. So it showed me that there was a need for something like that in the area. And so I had several of the vendors ask to do a holiday show. So we decided to do that, and that's when we moved it out to the fairgrounds.
Okay, and this is going to be in November, right?
Yes.
November 17th.
Yes. This will be our second holiday show. Our first was that last year in 2017. We moved it out to the fairgrounds. That way we're all able to be indoors. We added more food trucks. We added a photo booth. We had the Friends of the Angels Camp Library came out and sold their poinsettias, and just added a lot of fun new elements to the event, and already had people asking when was the next one going to be. So we decided to do one spring of this year, 2018. So we did the same location, and we added more vendors out on the lawn. This event takes place in the Mark Twain Hall, the biggest hall at the Calaveras County Fairgrounds. And so because we anticipated nice weather in April, we added 20 to 30 more vendors out on the lawn, and we had like a food truck row alongside the hall. And it was a hit. I mean, we had people lined up outside waiting to get in. It took probably an hour just to get through the first batch of people that were lined up. So it was a really good day for all of our local artists. You know, we have so many people in this area that I did not know anything about until I started putting feelers out.
Well, now you started this because you have a specialty.
Yes.
What's your specialty? What's your
Well,
craft specialty?
I started as a paper crafter years and years ago, and I make greeting cards and home decor, and we've kind of moved into jewelry, and my husband and I do woodworking together. So one thing you learn about a crafter is nobody kind of just stops with one craft. We kind of just branch out into all different directions, and it's really amazing to see what all of these people do.
But you couldn't find a show to do your
I
craft,
couldn't find a
so you
show.
had to start your own show.
I had to start my own show, and then it kind of just led me to meeting all of these other wonderful artists and crafters in the area that were seeking out the same type of opportunity. So we've kind of all banded together, and we do this a couple times a year, and we try to add giving back to the community into each of our events. This will be the fourth time that the Friends of the Angels Camp Library is involved. They bring their book sale to our event, which has been very successful for them. We have all of our vendors donate an item to a raffle, and we have chosen a different organization each time to be the benefit of the proceeds from the raffle. They actually come in and they run the raffle booth and call out the ticket numbers and award the prizes, and it's really a lot of fun. We've worked with the Calaveras Humane Society. We've worked with Mark Twain Elementary School. We've raised money for Utica Park. Our last organization that we worked with was the Angels Camp Community Club. And if you're not familiar with them, they are a local club out of Angels Camp that has banded together to do some serious fundraising for the playground in Utica Park.
Okay.
The play structure we have there right now is really quite old and outdated and maybe not the safest. And so their goal is to raise $180,000 to build a new structure that is not only updated but is also it makes the playground accessible,
kid safe, or
for
handicapped
handicapped or families, infants. There's a generational swing. I mean, there's these people. Cora Brolio heads up the organization, and she has done an amazing job. They've raised quite a bit of money so far, but they came out and they did our raffle for our summer show, and they did a great job and asked if they could come back for the November show, and I said, of course.
So that's who's going to be.
So they will be the beneficiary again this time, and they will run the raffle booth. And so it's really cool because all of our vendors give. That's part of their entrance fee into doing the show. They pay their booth fee, and then they donate a handmade or curated item to the raffle.
How many vendors do you expect this time?
This time, right now, we've got 60 craft and vintage that will be indoors, and about 8 food trucks and food tents that will be outdoors. But if the weather is going to be nice, we will probably add about 20 more vendors outdoor on the lawn. We have a long waiting list right now.
Hard to tell in November.
It is, and last November was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So we're crossing our fingers and hoping so we can try to accommodate those other vendors and offer our shoppers even more of a selection because it's holiday shopping time. We're like the first craft fair really that kind of kicks off the holiday season because it's a week before Thanksgiving, and generally all the Christmas holiday events start after Thanksgiving. So
you're jumping the gun.
We are, and it really paid off last year. So we're really excited about it.
Well, here, let me show the folks at home.
Yeah.
This is your poster. Let me go this way.
So the vintage trailer is kind of our logo. We've been using it since day one, and we've always managed to have a vintage trailer of some sort at our events. We've had Road Trip Espresso out of Murphy's. They work out of a vintage trailer. They've appeared at our event a couple times. And the Vintage Fleet out of Sonora, that is a mobile vintage trailer bar.
A vintage trailer bar.
Yes, they set up at our last event, and the Angels Camp Business Association partnered with them and sold mimosas. That was a hit. Out of the vintage trailer, we actually had a vintage trailer photo booth.
Now, when you say vintage, you're talking about mid-century modern.
I'm talking about
50s, 60s, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and it's been renovated, and of course it's cute as heck. And so we've always had something like that. That's kind of been our, I don't want to say our mascot, but kind of, that's kind of how people know us. When I pass out the flyers, they recognize us from that trailer. So,
and what do you see in the future? Where's the road show going to go in the future?
Well, we've got options. We're looking in the Valley. We're looking possibly in the Turlock area, which is my hometown where I'm from. And then we were approached by the folks over at the fairgrounds in Sonora about possibly bringing a show there. So that is another opportunity as well.
And all these crafters and artists are banding together and going with you.
Yeah, actually, a lot of them said they would. And we
Okay.
do have some from Tuolumne County that participate in our show, and I do have some that come up from the Valley that participate in our show. We've even had vendors from the Bay Area come. All of our marketing is done on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, and that's kind of how.
So you do have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page and an Instagram.
What's the Facebook page?
It's Crafty Chicks Roadshow, and Instagram it's Crafty Chicks Roadshow, all one word. And you can reach us through there. You can go on and you can see a preview of all of the wonderful handmade and vintage items that will be at our show. I post to it daily, so you can kind of see we're a juried market. So
juried market. Explain that.
So that means we don't just take vendor fees and say, okay, come sell at our market. We actually really look at what the artist does. And I try to make each category just one artist per category.
Oh, okay.
I myself
Less competition.
Less competition. I've been at as a crafter, I've been at events where there's been several other vendors that do the same thing, and then nobody has a profitable day. So we're kind of really careful with how we select our vendors. We want to make it a really good day for our vendors, and we want to offer our shoppers really unique items.
When you said juried, I thought maybe they were rated and they won awards or that sort of thing.
No, but talking to one of my vendors the other day, she said you need to do a best in show and kind of get some of the vendors to really go all out on their booths, because we do have a few that come and go. I mean, they're magnificent the way they set up their booths and things. So it really is a fun day, a fun thing to see, and you can pick up a lot of cool holiday gifts too, especially if you're coming in the November show. So many things to choose from. And lots of good food to eat, too.
Yeah, you got to have the food. Now, you have another event that you're promoting here.
This is, I don't know if you want to hold that up.
Well, okay, I'll hold this up.
This is an event that is presented by the Angels Camp Business Association, otherwise known as ACBA. I am a board member for that organization, and this is actually the 28th year that there will be a lighted parade in downtown Angels Camp. That's in the historic part, a lighted parade, and we're calling it a wine hop. So we'll have 10 merchants in the historical part of Angels Camp that will be hosting, each one will be hosting a different winery. So basically you can pay $10 for your commemorative glass, and then you can hop from merchant to merchant to merchant to sample all the different local wines. And then down in
what day is that again?
That is on Saturday, November 24th. So it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And
so you got before Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So this is going to be a busy week for me.
And do you have family for Thanksgiving?
Actually, this year I don't. So this is going to kind of fill in the gap. But the open house for the merchants and the wine hop takes place from 4 to 7 p.m. and the parade starts at 5 o'clock. And then we will also have a downtown holiday market in the parking lot of the Calaveras Visitors Bureau, which will be kind of like a little mini craft fair. We'll have some local vendors selling their wares out there for Christmas, as well as a couple local food trucks.
And how many vendors do you expect?
That's going to be a smaller scale. We'll probably have about 10.
Okay.
We'll have about 10, and we'll have...
this is more promoting the merchants.
This is just kind of to kind of round out the event and make it kind of for everybody. The wine hop, that's for the parents, and then we've got... a meet and greet with Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
That's for the kids. We've got photos with Santa. We've started up a new program this year, Letters to Santa, so kids can... letters from Santa, actually. Kids can actually...
And how does that work?
Well, we're going to have a little station where parents can bring their child, and there'll be a form for them to fill out with different information about their child, and maybe their child will give us their wish list for Christmas.
Right.
And then they will receive a letter in the mail in mid-December from Santa.
Ooh,
and it will
from the North Pole.
It will be from the North Pole, be from Santa, signed by Santa, and it will be personalized to each child.
Nice.
So they will feel like it really came from Santa Claus. So that's something new that we're adding this year, as well as the downtown marketplace in the Visitors Bureau. And then, of course, we have all of our great local merchants downtown that will be open for our open house.
Now, have you always been involved in crafts and events and this sort of thing? What is a little bit of your background here?
Well, I've always been involved in crafts. I started crafting, I think when my oldest daughter was 10, I started scrapbooking. And now she's 27. So about 17 years.
And she's got a lot of memories, I bet.
She's got a lot of memories, yeah. And I'm actually what you call a professional crafter. I was able to quit my day job, and
What was your day job?
It's very boring. I worked in a car dealership.
Okay.
2 different ones for a total of about 20 years. And I did just about every desk in the dealership. And when I finally left, I was doing DMV, which, that's boring. I'm a creative person. It was boring. Worked with great people, but couldn't wait to get back to my creative roots. And I was fortunate enough, my husband gave me the opportunity to pursue that. And so...
but now you make about as much money as you did with the with the job and that sort of thing. So you
it's
are a
nice,
professional
and I'm my
crafter.
own boss, and it's just nice. And then I became involved with the Angels Camp Business Association. I think it's been about a year. I've been a board member, and so we just did our Mark Twain Wild West Fest.
How did that go?
That was excellent.
Yes.
That was excellent. First of all, the weather was beautiful. It was a gorgeous day. The people came out. It was
What kind of attendance did you get?
I don't know yet, but it was pretty darn packed.
I mean, you felt good. You were happy with what you saw.
Yeah. I think the year before we had maybe 5,000 to 6,000 come through.
That's a good number.
And it felt like that again this year, maybe more. It was promoted a little bit more this year.
Was this the second year?
No, well, I think it's the second year. I didn't get involved until last year, but I think this was the second year. It was called the Mark Twain Wild West Fest. I think before that it was called, I can't remember what it was called.
Some kind of gold rush thing. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it was a gold rush festival. That was kind of before I became involved, and it was called something else. But now it grows bigger every year, and so it was really nice. There was a raffle for the gold nuggets.
Oh, I heard about. Tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
so
what was
that was
all
kind of
about?
neat. They were gold nuggets that were valued at, I think, $5,950. And
Okay.
we were selling raffle tickets for $10 a piece. And
Pretty good bet.
yeah, and if you win, if you don't want the nuggets, you can take $3,000 cash.
Okay.
So last year, our winner took the $3,000 cash. It was a local business. I believe it was Aspen Architects out of Angels Camp,
Right.
and they donated the money. So that was really cool. So this year, a private citizen won, and she's from Angels Camp. So it was really nice that a local won, because we had a lot of out-of-town people there as well. But she won, and I haven't heard yet if she's taking the nuggets or she's taking the cash, but that'll be interesting to see. But it was a nice event. I mean, we had all the same fun stuff. We had the shootouts downtown and the Gold Rush Village with lots of activities for kids, and we had 2 stages of music with great music. I think we had 60 vendors downtown. We closed off Main Street.
That's a good number.
Yeah, lots of food trucks and food vendors, and it was just great. It was a really good event, and the community came out and really showed their support. So, and it looks like they're going to come out again and show their support for our lighted parade.
Is that? I was going to ask you the next event for the Angels Camp.
Yeah, that would be this. That's the lighted parade
Right.
and wine hop. We kind of just roll right into the next one. And so that is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we're hoping that if everybody's around, they'll come and take advantage of the fun downtown.
And then you have a whole year planned out, I'm sure, next year. You sound like the event queen here.
Well, after that, let's see, in early 2019, the Angels Camp Business Association will be hosting Taste of Calaveras up at Ironstone Vineyards.
Okay.
And that is a really...
There used to be at Dove Ranch or whatever.
It's kind of shifted around. It's been at
Has
the
it?
fairgrounds.
Right.
Yeah. Last year they did it at Ironstone. I believe the last 2 years they did. And Ironstone really takes care of the association when we're there. They do a lot to help us out with the event. So I think we decided to go, let's go with them again. And that's a really nice event too. There's live music, and then a lot of the local restaurants and artisanal food makers come out, and you can buy your ticket and go in and taste a lot of wine, and then you can taste all the little food, the little nibbles of food and everything, and it really makes for a fun day. So yeah. So my calendar is always busy.
Well, now, did you grow up in Calaveras? I mean, are you a
No,
local girl?
I actually grew up in Stanislaus County. I lived in Turlock, born and raised there, and lived there my whole life until I met Greg, my husband. He's my second husband. But I met him, and he happened to live here. So that's how I ended up here. Didn't know a soul, other than him and his family and his friends. And kind of the nice thing about this is it's really got me out there in the community. And I really have met, I've met a lot of great people. And now I know who people are, and I've made a lot of good friends. So it's been a really good experience.
You are the queen of events. I can't think of anybody more worthy of that title. Well, thank you very much for letting us know all about your event. Once again, why don't you tell us again your website or your Facebook page?
You can find us on Facebook at Crafty Chicks Roadshow. You can find us on Instagram at Crafty Chicks Roadshow, and it's all one word.
Okay. Well, Julie, we really appreciate you being here on Inside View, and I'm Sid Marsh, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.